Okay, this shall be a very quick little video on the Pact. Basically, we think of the Pact as this dualistic thing of between humans and the children, and I think in this case the humans represented radiation magic, and the children represented conduction magic. But what about the other one? What about convection magic, the transfer of heat through water? I think this is very important because I do think that radiation kind of has the ability to power all of them. Like, radiation can pass through any object that does not block it. But this is the problem with fire as the ultimate representation of radiation is fire burns and fire consumes, and it will consume and destroy everything that does not stop it. And so, like, I think this is what the Bloodstone Emperor essentially did, was he entered into this pact between humans, the children, and the others, so that they could all have access to magic, and they would all be able to survive in the way that they've survived for millennia without interfering with one another. The problem with this is that the Bloodstone Emperor had consumed all he could consume of radiation magic through oily black stones and pure radiative power, and he saw the different powers that the others and the singers could possess, and he could see that the singers could become the trees and the stones and the birds and the bees and all this. And he decided that he would break the pact. And I think this was the Bloodstone Emperor's ultimate sin, is that he probably sacrificed Nissa Nissa on a heart tree, so that when she died there, she would use her radiative magic potential and would radiate throughout the Weirwood Net. So this is why humans are an invasion, is because they entered the Weirwood Net through radiative magic and not through conductive magic, which is what the Weirwoods are conductors. But radiation has polluted these conductors. Like, when he stabs Nissa Nissa on the tree and she goes into the tree, it's through probably Dragonsteel, like, Lightbringer probably brought the light of humanity into the trees. And so once she was in there, he could then skin change her, and he could retain more of his original, like, radiative magic and powers inside of the Weirwood Net. And so this is where the naughty green seer comes in, because I do think that humans have the ability to go into green seer mode without radiative magic, and I think this is like what Bloodraven did with Bran. What's happening now is that the Bloodstone Emperor consciousness inside of the Weirwood Net is consuming the Weirwood Net, and the Weirwood Net and the children are all about to die because of it. And think about that. That's very, very sad. Ooh, excuse me. Okay. So he's looking at convection, and he's wanted convection this entire time. And so, like, he probably did, like, the Bloodstone Emperor was the Great King as well. There's this tendency that they have to, like, try to corrupt it from the inside. So imagine him getting, and this is where I think, like, the Tullys, are a great bridge between, the Drowned God and the Seven. Because they live in Riverrun, a place on the water. Their sigil is a fish. They believe they go down to the watery halls when they die. But they are devout worshippers of the Seven. And so I think the Seven is a branch off of the Church of Starry Wisdom, quite obviously. I think that the Church of Starry Wisdom is the human church of Convection, which is why it's always found around docksides and stuff, is because it's the religion of the water. In this way, sorry, like, this is unscripted, and I just woke up, so I apologize a little bit. Can you guys see me okay? I don't have my glasses on, so... Oh, alright. Alright. Any woozle. So I think that the Great Other lives underwater, So I do think that there is a drowned god. I think that the drowned god that the Ironborn worship are the human corruption of convection magic. And I do think there was, like, a chip of fire in the ice that, like, embedded itself, and it's been eating away at the ice for a minute now, which is why, like, the others have such, like, corpse-like symbolism, is because, like, humans may have, like, just about finished conduction magic as well, but they've been eating away at convection magic this whole time. It's not like it's a new flavor to them. But this is what I think the Bloodstone Emperor originally did, was he got radiation into conduction and a little bit of it into convection. And I think what's happening now is the Bloodstone Emperor consciousness is mantling a little bit. Like, it's got a little tiny shade hand on the back of Euron Crow's Eye. And eventually, like, it's going to invade and encapsulate him the same way it invaded and encapsulated the Weirwood trees through Nissa Nissa, and him through Nissa Nissa into Weirwood Net. He's going to do that to Euron Crow's Eye, who will become a mantle of the Drowned God, or a mantle of the Great Other. So, like, Euron Crow's Eye is looking out to the Great Other to kind of become, like, a worshipper of him, to where, like, he can get in good with convection, and then all of a sudden he is going to be the next Nissa Nissa. So Euron Crow's Eye will get into the convection side of things. Bloodstone Emperor consciousness will spear the fuck out of him into that, and that is how the Bloodstone Emperor consciousness will try to invade the Great Other completely, and, like, really get in there and start worrying away at it. So, yeah, essentially that's it. Hey, this is a 10-minute video. This is good. I'm probably gonna end it here. But yeah, that is the pact, and the pact that humans broke. And the reason that the North needs to remember is because humans can be pure conductors, or humans can be pure convectors. Um, so, like, there was, I think, during the Pact, a few marriages, probably. Not just one or two, or one and two and three. There's probably a whole bunch of marriages of, like, hey guys, we can like agree to like use each other's magic a little bit. And I think that's what the pact essentially was kind of like, hey, we can all have like this middle ground of we all need heat, and we can all transfer heat different ways, and we can all benefit from that. And so they did, and I think that was the original dance of ice and fire and convection, or conduction. But like humans started stepping on everybody's toes, and they wanted the whole dance floor. And I think that's what the Bloodstone Emperor did, is he tried to take all of the heat magic and just whip it up for himself. And the other people in the pact, the others and the children, are going to fight that shit, because that will bring on like another long night. I think humans invading the Weirwood Net brought on one long night because he took a whole bunch of heat away for himself. And then all of the fucking cold came as like the reduction of heat came. Like, whew. So if he does that again, and he does that with convection, this new long night will probably be much, much, much worse. But I think that's what Bran is being taught in the caves, is that he should be fighting against Azor Ahai. He should be fighting with the others to maintain the balance, and to get humans off their high horse. Like, humans can be green seers, and humans can be part of the other net, but they can't be part of all of it all at once. They can't be all of that plus dragon lords plus, like, when you get too powerful, you're going to fall. Like, when you get too high, you're gonna fall. And that's what humans need to remember. 13 minutes.